Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where we're going to bring you up to speed with quite a lot of very interesting information. And unfortunately, my co-presenter, Paul Lafferty, is away in Australia. I won't give you any bullshit stories like he does about me, but he was right last week. I did have my toe amputated. It's much better now, and I'm sure you're all very pleased to hear about it. But thank goodness he's gone away, because we've had some guests on the show, namely Harrison, Dee's Diner. My God, they're all a bit of dull as dishwater. We get Graham Hawkins every now and again. He's the big racing honcho. We've had Mike de Kock doing this show. And we've had Jessica Slack. But we decided to get in another presenter that would probably please all of you a hell of a lot, and certainly please me a lot more than all of you. Karen, nice having you on the show.
Thanks. Nice to be here, James.
Well, you've done a bit of TV because you're helping Martin Locke on Friday nights, and that's quite fun, isn't it?
Yeah, we've with the whole Vibe Night Grave, they kind of get the Friday night racing going, and a bit of, we're interviewing the trainers, interviewing the jockeys, so that the guys out there are actually getting the inside edge, as opposed to just hearing after the race how well the horse ran and who did what, So we are trying to get a new vibe going. Gravel Night Racing seems to be picking up, and it should be a really good season.
Interesting, I was chatting to MRL, as he likes to be known, and he said to me that it was between you and Dees to get the job as the on-course presenter about 13 years ago. I'm surprised you even talked to him.
No, I was on course at that time. I was standing on course as a bookmaker, and they were looking for presenters for Teletrack. And we all sort of tried out, and I think maybe I was too young at that stage, and Dees was better looking, so I think they went with Dees at that stage. But yeah, I think I've blossomed.
Well, Dees will be pleased to hear that. So on that happy note for Dees, let's move on and go and have a look at 3 to follow. Well, here we go, 3 to follow. Let's go and have a look at the Vaal. This was on Tuesday or Monday. They had a turf meeting at the Vaal. Very unusual indeed, but this Australian-bred son of Teofilio was stepped out by the Janse van Vuren team, and there was heavy support for it, but he really didn't get into the race until far too late. Let's go and have a look at him at the start.
Well, here you see he jumps now. He doesn't get away all that well, unfortunately. If you're trying to follow him, he's got the white cap with a stripe down the middle there. He's probably 5 off the inside rail. He doesn't really ever get into the race, and considering he was quite short in the betting, you would have expected a better race here.
Well, you're right, because he didn't get away as well as he should to be able to have a chance. The ground's very firm at this time of the year. It's hard to make up ground. The winner's on the inside, about 3 in front of him in the blue and white colours. The horse in the pink on the outside's going an absolute canter. And here he looks like he's really battling.
You see, Washington's really pushing him here. He's never going to get to the front. I think from about the 200, he seems to have a better turn of foot. Maybe he seems to understand what he's meant to be doing here, but he's a bit big and a bit clumsy.
Yeah, I think that this run under the belt here, he gets a couple of reminders by Waishong, and then really starts to run on very nicely. And he's beautifully bred. Teofilio, we don't get a chance to see that type of blood here, so I think he'll be able to go in.
Definitely. I think next time out, you're not going to get much of a price, though. So maybe you'll have to look at Interbet and see if you've got some decent value there. Yeah,
well, we're not going to go to Kruger Racing, because you now know about this one.
Well, I have to be nice to Interbet tonight because I'm on the show, but I'll reserve judgment about Kruger bets.
No one has to be nice to Johnny Stark. Let's go and have a look at the next one. And we go to Greyville, and it was on the Poly on Friday night. And quite nice to see a horse like this step out. Let's go and pick him up at the start.
So he's going to jump from gate 10. He's got the spots on. He gets away quite well, and I think the track here generally runs, if you get away well and you get to the front, you should be there and thereabouts. He's racing quite wide there. I think, they're going to try to tuck him in, and he tracks the winner actually comes from the bright orange and black stripes. There, they're pulling him out. So he's going to track him, I think, when you come into the straight.
Yeah, he certainly does. The winner is Harrison. It's actually Tuesday night. I've got it completely wrong. as usual.
Tuesday racing.
Day meeting, as you can see, there is quite a nice light, but grey will when it's lit up. But let's get back to this one. He's at the back and wide, but certainly runs on really well at the death. Let's pick him up in the straight, Karen. He's under a bit of pressure here.
He does look like he's under pressure, but he's also a baby and he's learning what he's doing for the first time. And I mean, Dennis Dreyer, they're great. He's got such good babies. He's really great with the babies, and the trippy babies have really been doing well this season.
Yeah, and nice for Braam van Heesteen from Tacky Town to at last found a decent horse. I think this horse could be very good, and he really gets under sort of real quiet ride here, gets to run on extremely well, and I would have thought that he'll be able to go in next time.
Sean didn't move on him at all. I think they're waiting for a better price actually, but. Yeah, they're not going to get one next time.
No, when we finish with them, there'll be no better prices, nowhere, not even on Interbet. We're going to have a look at the next one, and this was a toss-up. We went to Durbanville, and this was the Wednesday meeting, and the Rattray team, Lammerskral, had two very nice fillies in this race, two very nice horses, and we think that they both go on. One was a gelding, which was the third horse, Beaufort Sea, and the fourth horse we picked up, Big Freeze. Let's go and pick him up at the start.
Well, they both, well, he's running in Mrs. Rattray's colours, but he's got the light blue cap on. It can get confusing because they both got the same colours on. But he's got the big white noseband. He's going to be tucked in now.
Yeah, his stable companion gets the run of the race on the inside fence, and he's just tucked in. They're about level, but you'll see when they turn for home. It is a 1400 metre. They're both bred to go all day. He's a Western Winter out of a Yes It's True man. The other one's a Fort Wood gelding. We picked him up because we think this horse might actually improve more than the Fort Wood. Turning into the straight now, they sort of behind each other. We like the horse with the light blue cap. We think that that's probably the right horse as far as the two are concerned.
I mean, Dean Cannemeyer had a really successful season here and I think he's got a nice batch of babies, and this will probably be one to follow for the season.
He looks like he'll go all day, this horse. He's been under pressure. Durbanville very hard. Nicias is out at him here already, but the winner, the Rebel King in front, is just got them stone cold. Rebel House. He ends up winning it, well ridden by Greg Sheen. And this horse now starts to find his feet, Karen. He starts to run on.
He does run on nicely. I think that he's never really going to beat the winner at this stage. The fourth place or the third place horse is also one to follow there. He runs on really nicely as well, and I think once he's more experienced and he knows what he's doing, he'll definitely be one to get a bet on.
Right, well, those look like three reasonable horses to follow. We think that you should be able to get a few rand out of those. We're going to go and have a look in Blast from the Past at Rothman's July, as it was 1978. And I don't know what Karen's going to tell us about the race, because I'm not sure that she knew much about it. But let's go and have a look at one of the greatest horses that ever raced winning this race.
Oh, to be in Durban now, July is there. In fact, everything's there, from high-rise buildings to low-sunk economy. It's 1978. This chap confuses his colts and fillies with his calves. Perhaps his choice is so humble. But let's take a stern look at the problem and get down to rock bottoms. 'Tis said the end that justifies the genes. Is she a pacer? Would you say she's gigantic? Ah, this one is ever fair. Obviously a retired rear admiral. Meet Mr. System, Ivor System. He's never managed to back the winner. He's broke, busted, and bewildered. The only way he can get a drink is to rush outside with a tankard whenever there's a storm brewing. His job's dried up, his car's been repossessed, his rent's overdue, and so is his girlfriend. And he makes it to Greyville early on the great day. It was grey, all right. Between 7 and 8 in the morning, grey clouds dropped a fair quantity of rain, and the ladies didn't know whether to take things off or put them on. She was going to wear her bra, but the entire thing fell through. The escort shirt is in matching nipple red. Are these the boots of a jockey who drives horses or a cowboy who drives cattle? Neither. It's the bloke who drives golf balls. Followed by the Pink Panther. Bum-bum, 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 bum. She's leaving it rather late. It's almost race time as the bell announces jockeys into the ring. Here they come, small men with great responsibilities. This is the only sport in which there's a right and a wrong way of doing the wrong thing. The connections of Simon Magus hoping to connect. The followers of Rhapsody's Footstep. And How Big Today is gigantic. A clairvoyant congratulates Hayden and Sid Laird. And the runners move out. Politician Hayden, 2 gigantic Dupree, 4 lightning shot Mustard, Ever Fair Cave, Arian Abercrombie, Simon Magus Grumman, Welcome Boy Turner, 40 Winks Burns, Boart McGaskill, Rhapsody's Footstep Rhodes, Pacer Jupp, Fast Piece Gadsby, King Charles Puller, Don the Stripe Coetzee, Great Son Sham, and So Humble Lloyd. Including those who pinched in, the best part of 50,000 people are now on tiptoe with expectation, including Ivor's System, who still hasn't received his winning bet from Amanda. Oh, dear. She's somewhere in that crowd, unless her girdle's suing her for non-support. But too late. They're away and running. Welcome Boy was slow out. Rhapsody's Footsteps went to the front, followed by a packed field headed by Simon Magus, So Humble, King Charles. Welcome Boy improving on the inside there. Great Son and Pacer with Politician about 7 back. The pace was slow as they went up the hill to the drill hall. They're now behind the drill hall. Later on at the 1400 occurred the only spot of trouble. The saddle slipped on Great Son, unbalanced. He caused King Charles to check onto Welcome Boy, who hit the rail and fell back to the rear, well out of his stride. Now watch for it. There's Welcome Boy with a white cap and the blue sleeves. Lying back about 6th on the rails. White cap, blue sleeves. Now watch him. There, he pecks, and he falls back through his field. Up front is still Lightning Shot, showing the way to Rhapsody's Footstep, and there's Don the Stripe coming on the scene. Don the Stripe running up there with Lightning Shot. Rhapsody's Footstep. Fast Piece. Finding the pace an easy one, Don the Stripe takes over from Lightning Shot. Fast Piece, then Rhapsody's Footstep, King Charles. Let's watch the progress of Politician in his orange silks. There he is, coming to the scene now on the left of the camera. On the final bend, Don the Stripe still clear of Lightning Shot. Politician now in 3rd place, ahead of Fast Piece, Rhapsody's Footstep, Ever Fair, Arian, Boart, King Charles, 40 Winks, Great Son, with So Humble back 12th, then Pacer Gigantic and Welcome Boy last. Hayden calls on Politician for his effort, as did McGaskill on Boart, and from here on it's a 2-horse duel, as Boart closed the gap and struggled gamely to head Politician. But Politician took the challenge without weakening. Politician centre of the course in orange, on his outside in red, Boart, with the 4 white socks, coming up to the winning line. Politician crosses the line and neck to the good, with Hayden waving his wand in triumph. And here's a slow motion of the finish again. When the winner's top weight and favourite, it's always a popular win, and Sid Laird kissed everybody except the receiver of revenue. It was Sid's 7th July win and Bertie's 3rd. They featured in so many of these films that they're being forced to join the Actors Union. To owners, Mrs. Tenderini and Mr. Javits, this scene is becoming second nature, though they don't mind it becoming 3rd or even 4th nature, because there's lots of good running still left in gallant Politician. What a reception. In that crowd are 1,000 males, 500 females, and 4 pickpockets. on the course to present the commemorative sash is the Rothmans' chairman, Sir David Nicholson, with Lady Nicholson. And with so many politicians being shouted, the Minister of Sport thought it was a party caucus. Well received by the crowd was this win. And here for his victory sash comes the champion, politician. The winning stake record not so long ago held by Sentinel and then topped by Elevation is now politicians, the figure of 274,000 rand.
Well, there you go. And we found out who actually did the narration for all these tapes. His name was Keith Taylor. And if you're still around, Keith Taylor, my goodness, you're a bloody expert. It was very funny, isn't it?
Yeah, he makes it very entertaining, I must say. It brings like a whole new dynamic to the July, hey?
He's got a thing about women's backsides.
Well, I was a bit, at least I wasn't on my backside when he was calling it gigantic, so I might have taken a bit of offense to that.
I don't think you were around at this stage.
I wasn't even thought of, I don't think, at this stage, no.
Well, there you go, something that you never knew about, Karen. Politician, what a great horse. We're going to go and have a look at the plum of the week.
and 400 meters left to go, and let's see how much left in the tank. Fly First Class goes the 1400 meter trip, and he still goes well by 2. Eternal Jet now looks to throw down the gauntlet stand side. King of Torts on the inside. Fly First Class now the last 100 ridden to respond, hanging right to the outside, but he still has 3 parts of a length to spare. King of Torts is on the inside. Eternal Jet, sit back, relax and enjoy the ride. Fly First Class and Anton Marcus riding like no man can stop him. Eternal Jet.
Well, we didn't pick up Fly First Class in the circle. It was actually the second horse, Eternal Jet. But Fly First Class was one of the winners that Anton Marcus had on a fantastic weekend.
I think we said he had 11 winners that weekend, and most of them were favourites. So everybody must have been smiling, or most punters would have been smiling. But that was decent price, that one.
Yeah, he went off at about 3 to 1. You could have got 4 to 1 on Interbet, this horse. And it was, I think, the only winner that Marcus rode that was not 15 to 10 or shorter. I think he rode one on Friday night that was 15 to 10.
Decent
but
price.
this horse was 3 to 1. And Marcus, last time he stepped on this horse, he won on it.
I mean, Marcus is a champion. He's an absolute, yeah, like I say, he's a champion on the poly track. He seems to read the track really well, and he gets ahead on a lot of the guys, and they can't catch him.
Yeah.
So to get 4 to 1 on a horse on the poly track is a decent price.
Ridden by Marcus, who'd won on it last time. Well done to Keith Young and Pauline and Craig Udy. They got the money for the punters for us on Sunday, and what a race it was. We're going to move on and have a look at current affairs, where we got the Emerald Cup.
Want to get the best horse racing and sporting events? For every bet requested, we review all the bookmakers and select the one with the best odds. As a result, you always get the best odds. Interbet offers tote betting, fixed odd multiples, and betting with your mobile phone. To get started, all you need to do is register by filling in your personal information. Log into your account and start wagering.
Well, remember, we're getting ready for the Bloodstock South Africa Ready to Run sale, which will be held on the Sunday at the end of the month. And that's going to be some fun. But the Emerald Cup is always a race well worth having a look at. Let's go and see what unfolded this year.
1 million rand, Emerald Cup, 1,450 meters. It's green for go, and away in racing. got them away to a brilliant start over here. White Line Fever was quick to react. Tommy Gunn shows up in the early part. Storm Surf handy, and Anger's come away from an outside draw to lead them. Racing just behind them is Jet Jamboree's placed 5 lengths off the leader. Then Tap Tap Macatini, Uncle Tommy, they're going really quickly. Brooks Club. Behind that is Shadow Line and Inner Rush. Further back to Rio Carnival. ISO Bar is further back in the field. Across the ice is racing towards the Rio with Kahlua Castle. Into the home stretch now in the Grade 2 Emerald Cup. They reach the 800-metre marker. It's Anger who is the leader, the red cap. Tommy Gunn is second. Storm Surf is handy in third. Jet Jamboree's only a length and a half off the leader up the centre. Then comes White Line Fever. 3 lengths away. Behind that is Brooks Club. Shadow Line's got 7 to go. Uncle Tommy further back. Then comes Inner Rush and Isobar. They've got 400 metres left to go. The leader is Tommy Gunn, is 2 lengths clear. Racing second is Jet Jamboree. White Line Fever's gone wrong at the back end. Uncle Tommy runs on, but the leader is Tommy Gunn with 200 to go in the 2014 Emerald Cup is 3-4 lengths clear. Tommy Gunn, there's no stopping him. On the outside is Uncle Tommy, finishing fastest Kahlua Castle, but Tommy Gunn is going all the way this time, and Tommy Gunn by 3 beats Uncle Tommy, Kahlua Castle, Jet Jamboree. Further back to across the ice, Tap Tap Macatini, Brooks Club. Then came...
Well, Emerald Cup is some type of race, and that was certainly a deserved winner.
I think because of his previous run where he was a bit disappointing, he got a decent price in the betting. But if you look at his form going backwards or previous form, he should have been a lot shorter, and he probably should have been a contender in the race. Well,
he certainly showed that. I think that took him to Kimberley the last time, and he didn't run very well. But Corne Spies is an expert. He really is a good trainer. He's had some very good horses through his hands. Warhorse, you'll remember, was an ARCSA champion. And he prepares them well for a race. This horse was properly put into the race.
I agree. You know, he also had a really good draw. He was drawn 3, and I think that plays into the horse's favour, especially when you're in the 1400 on the sand. But yeah, it was a really good ride, and unfortunate that the favourite broke down because he looked like he was actually going quite well up until about the 200-metre mark. But I don't know if he would have beaten.
No, I don't think anything would have beaten this horse, Kieran. And well done to the Anglers Arcus team and McNabbs and Toby Spies has got a share in it. Corne's father. Okay. He was the start of the dynasty. But it's by Sale from Seattle, was bred by the Milkwood Stud, and very nice for them to have a winner on the sand at the Vaal of such a big race, the richest race in Africa, they call it.
I mean, it's fantastic for all the breeders when they win a group race, and I think Tommy Gunn will probably go on and win a few more.
Certainly looks like a decent one. He beat a very good field, and it was hyped to be a good race, and really ended up quite a good one. But talking about big races, Arc de Triomphe week is this week. We're going to go to the Arc de Triomphe at Longchamp over the weekend, and it's building up to be quite a race.
I think it's going to be spectacular. I mean, it's like our July Day, but on a whole different level, you know. You're competing like with Ascots and that kind of thing. And yeah, I think there's a young filly, I think, Ruler of the World.
Yeah, no, Ruler of the World's the Derby winner. He's the colt,
Is he the colt? No, it was Teguda.
Yeah, Teguda's
I think she's the favourite because she's well weighted in the race.
Yeah, and she gets 11 pounds from the older horses. Gosden, who trains her, is very confident that she can win it. She's top class. She's shown that she's one of the best fillies in the world at the moment. But interesting, Frankie rides O'Brien's horse, Ruler of the World.
Well, I would like Frankie on my horse if I was racing in the Arc de Triomphe, but I'd possibly prefer the 11-pound advantage. You know, I think last year, Creve won last year, and she was really well weighted. So it shows that the weight obviously makes a huge advantage in that kind of race.
Just talking about you like Frankie, is it because he's Italian, good looking, or good jockey?
All of the above. He's like a good wine. He's rich. He's rich and Italian, and he's obviously not a bad rider. So I wouldn't mind Frankie on my horse.
Good description. Frankie's a star. We love Frankie. But Treve, just in the comments, she was the winner last year. Yeah. they're not happy with the way she's moving on the gallops. They say that she's not moving as well as she used to. And her jockey who picked up the ride last year, Thierry Janet, not very impressed with her.
Well, she's won at one, so we'll excuse her this year if she doesn't run a good race.
The interesting horse is the Japanese horse.
Just Away.
Yeah.
He won in Dubai, and I'm not sure what he's carrying in the race or who's riding him. I don't know too much about him, but there's been quite a lot of talk about him.
Yeah, they say that he might be the one that just upsets the apple cart. But moving on from there, Australia's getting ready for their big spring carnival, and there's been some action going on there, hasn't there?
I think they were saying that 19 horses have just arrived for the spring carnival, and it took them 30 hours to get there by plane. So I must be feeling a bit jet lagged, and you know, it must take a lot out of the horses. So you've got to be a really decent sort to show or to at least perform at a carnival like that after such a long trip.
Well, you know, the Australians are starting to get beaten in the Melbourne Cup with regularity, which makes us very pleased. And certainly the way the Springboks beat them on Saturday makes us even more pleased, doesn't it?
I must say, I like the Aussies. I don't mind them. I think they're quite similar to ourselves. If we aren't playing them or racing against them, I generally root for them. So, yeah.
What did your husband think about that? He had many a scrap with the Australians, didn't he?
My husband had many a scrap with many players. And Aussie wouldn't be any different. Yeah, I mean, he's just come back from Australia. He took the SAA team over there, and I saw how jet lagged he was and how long it took for the players to adjust when they were playing there. And so for the horses, it must take a lot out of them.
What is fascinating about it, and we've travelled horses on planes all over the world, is that they don't, although they stand, and they're standing for 30 hours, they don't seem to be as badly affected as humans are. If you were a human and you had to travel 30 hours and stop at Sharjah and Singapore and all over the place, you'd be finished for a week.
Well, maybe it's better than travelling in economy class. Maybe we should all just stand for the 30 hours as opposed to sitting cramped in economy.
You're onto something there, Karen. Anyway, the final shipment arrives on the 11th of October from Europe. They've got over 30 horses going for the big races in Australia, and I think the Australians are going to get a little wake-up call.
It would be great to have seen Mark de Kock having one or two runners over there. I know you were saying you had a runner 3 years ago, and ran third.
I think it might have actually been the horse that won the July, the 10th anniversary of the July. He stands at stud here now, and it's got a complete blank, so it just shows you. That's what he took. It was Oppenheimer's horse. There's a Beale horse. Grey,
Can't think of it.
Gray's Inn was his name. Thank you, Raymond. Thank goodness for Raymond. Gray's Inn. I think he went for the Melbourne Cup. Herman Brown ran third, I think, with a horse of the Russians. So
maybe next year we'll see some South African contenders, or a South African contender.
You know, we spend the whole year traveling. We go to Dubai, we spend 6 months getting to Dubai, we go to Dubai, then we got to go to England, then we got to go to Australia for quarantine. It just seems too much, and I think that's the problem. But Australia the other thing that's happened in Australia is the Patent Act dispersal sale, and that's why Laf's not here this week. Been a hell of a sale.
Apparently it was huge. I mean, the price of some of the horses in that have been phenomenal. I'll let you tell the viewers a bit about the Patent Act dispersal because you know a bit more about it than me. But yeah, I think they raised 22 million just on that.
Well, they raised 22 million, but Jerry Harvey, who owns Magic Millions, lent the guy who owns Patnack, I think his name Tinkler, 40 million. So now this was a dispersal sale to get his money back. He didn't get his money back, but Coolmore were big spenders. There's a guy from Japan called Pan Sutong.
I think his stud is Golden Farm Stud.
That's him, yes. Golden Farm Stud. And he spent about 2.53. He's got a stallion sitting there in Australia, a Japanese stallion or Hong Kong stallion.
A Keen Mufad? Or
a Keen Mufad.
Something along those lines.
Let me tell you his rider was Dougie White.
Really?
Dougie White used to ride a Keen Mufad, yeah.
Okay.
He's raced in Hong Kong a lot. Anyway, he spent $2.5 million. South Africa was at the sale and spent Klavervlei.
They bought a filly, I think, for $4 million or $400,000. But in with our poor rand, it's about 4 million rand. So yeah, a stunning name, Pretty Pins.
Yeah, Pretty Pins.
She's lovely, yes.
I think they probably bought her to go to their stallion Delago Deluxe in Australia. He stands at New Haven Park, so she'd probably go there. But it shows you they're casting their net far and wide. Klavervlei, nice to see that.
It's great to see South African representation there. And Klavervlei had also a really great season this year, so it's nice to see the breeders getting out and about.
Talking about the breeders, Duke of Marmalade had a Group 3 winner in Italy over the weekend.
Oh, I mean, he's the son of Danehill, who's probably one of the greatest sires ever, and he was the European champion. I think he had 5 Group 1s in a row. 2 weeks ago, Martin did a really nice, we had a really nice preview of him at Drakensberg Stud, so he's phenomenal. I mean, he's just covered Beach Beauty as well.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. We're dying to see what comes out there. But this was pre-Sergio Kamani. So it's obviously Luca Kamani, something.
It must be some kind of
something
link.
to do with them.
Yeah.
The horse's name was Ming Z Cosmos. So there we are. That's a name to put in your pockets and try and smoke that. Ming Z Cosmos, one for the Duke of Marmalade's progeny. I hope the Drakensberg bunch named the Duke of Marmalades better than Ming Z Cosmos. So, you know. Otherwise, we could have a problem with the commentators. We're going to move on from current affairs. And in your call, we've got the KwaZulu-Natal Breeders' Awards. But before that, we'll chat to Karen a little. Well, although we've got the KwaZulu-Natal Racing Awards coming, I've got a few minutes and I'd just like to chat to Karen because a lot of people see you out there. But tell me about Karen Kruger. You were born and bred in the bookmaking fraternity.
Well, my mum, when she was a schoolgirl, she kind of worked on the tote to earn a bit of extra money to buy her first car. So she's always had the racing genes and that kind of thing. We moved down from Johannesburg to Durban when I was young, and she met Dave Laverack, and they hooked up and they started what was Kruger Racing, you know, small little dingy Tattersall's in Mzinto, and worked their way up from that. So she was the first female on the race course in '94. The men all challenged her and didn't want this female with a pink umbrella to stand on the race course, and she threatened Constitutional Court and was allowed on, and the men gave her about 3 months. And I think she was one of the longest standing bookmakers on the race course. When I was 18, I was then licensed. I was the youngest bookmaker licensed, and I then came on the race course. So we've kind of had people or representation on the race course. Dave, my father, stood on the race course as well, and we no longer, I think last year was the first year Kruger Racing, or we never had somebody standing on course. But yeah, been in the game for years.
And your mother, Shirley, is obviously very sharp. I know that when I was a kid and used to come down here, we always used to like to have a bet with Shirley because, you know, we get to see you who was standing at the back there, and Shirley was, you know, better than having a bet with Morris V because, you know, Morris V would get grumpy and he was horrible to look at when he got grumpy when you didn't pay him. Shirley, at least you had a chance.
Morris was a gentleman of the game, you know, at least. When my mum lost her cool.
All right, Ronnie Rowley. Let's say Ronnie Rowley.
Ronnie Rowley, 100%. No, it was. I mean, it's been great. It's a really wonderful industry to be involved in. Quite a hard industry for a female to start off in. Like they say, she had not to be crude, balls of steel. And she was never really one that anybody wanted to mess with. She was quite feisty in that. But she paved the way, and Dave's been phenomenal in the business. He's grown it really well. He's probably been more forward-thinking with regard... My mum always said she would never go into computers, you know, but times have changed, and it's been phenomenal. And I think racing in general has changed. And hopefully with this whole Friday night racing and the vibe that's happening now, we can get the people back on course, because with all the sport that's happening and being able to sit at home and have a bet on your rugby, your cricket, your horse racing, people aren't coming to the courses anymore. They want to stay at home, be able to flick through the channels, and yeah, I think it'll be good to get people back on course.
Karen, let's talk about you, because you know, you were sort of the belle of the race course. I think most men wanted to take you out on the race course, but you ended up with H.D. Ackerman. Now,
Lucky man.
I knew his father. When I was a
Yes.
lightie, I used to watch his father play cricket. I think he was a province cricketer.
Yes.
He was a very good batsman. And then HD came along. How did that all come about? Are you a sports fan?
I mean, I played sport for many years as well, and HD's dad was a Western Province fan. Yeah, he played at Western Province. HD captained Western Province for 10 years or so, and we actually met in Johannesburg very romantically at Billy the Bums. It was fantastic. But yeah, HD and I have been married now. We've got 2 little kids, married 6-7 years. Feels like a lifetime, but it's been wonderful. He travels a lot as well, and yeah.
Do you find that hard?
I think when we met, he was playing cricket already, so he was travelling, but not to the extent that he is now, because he's a batting consultant for Cricket South Africa. He also works for SuperSport, and you may hear him on TV randomly commentating on the games. But no, it's been great. He's been very supportive of the racing industry. When we met, it was a bit awkward because we went to India at one stage, and the guys all said, "Oh, well, what does your wife do?" And he just said, "Involved in a family business," because bookmakers and cricketers didn't have a great reputation. So once they found out I was a bookmaker, I was well received in India.
Did you like India?
I do actually. People tend to get the wrong idea of India. It's very cramped, a lot of people, but they're very welcoming, wonderful people.
And how about the sports betting, the cricket, specifically the cricket betting? I read a fantastic book the other day called Bookie, Gambler, Fixer, Spy. Have you read it? It's about cricket betting and fixing of games in cricket. It's a fascinating book. Is there that much skullduggery going on?
I think there is. I think especially because gambling is illegal in India, so you've got a lot of the under-table, backhand kind of happening. I mean, HG was telling me when they played in a charity game the one day, guys came and gave them Oakley sunglasses and said, "Oh, if you wear the sunglasses, you can keep them." Meanwhile, they were betting on how many players were going to be wearing Oakley sunglasses. You know, so it's that kind of thing. It's not just a matter of it's going to be a no ball. It's going to be, are they going to be wearing peak caps? And I mean, this was years ago, so it's obviously changed and developed. But I think it's more rife, unfortunately, where you can't get a legal bet on. So perhaps if they legalized it in India, they would, I mean, the revenue would be huge in taxes, but perhaps they would, you wouldn't have as much under-table, underhand, backhand things.
Your kids, are they sports orientated? I know they're still young, but
Yes.
Obviously with you're pretty good at karate, weren't you, in your day?
I did karate for many years, yeah. So, but James, my youngest, he's 4 and he loves to grab a bat and hit it around. But I would never push him into the cricket industry. I'd let him kind of do what he wants. Otherwise, there's always going to be that expectancy, you know. And my daughter's 3 months, but she's showing tremendous talent.
Yeah, and I could imagine at 3 months she must be holding the bat really well. But golf is the game. Get them into golf.
How was the Ryder Cup this weekend?
Phenomenal, wasn't it?
So glad Europe won.
Oh, but we all are, you know.
Yeah.
It's like they're so glad when the Australians get beaten. I know you're the only person I've ever met who's South African who's not glad when the Australians get beaten. But how do you see yourself evolving now? You're a family lady, you've got kids. Bookmaking, is that still paramount for you?
We're very lucky. We've just corporatized the company. It's become a PTY Limited company. So we've got my cousin's actually come up from Joburg. He's a CA and he's been with us for about 4 or 5 years. And he's now running the company. The folks are trying to pull out a little bit. I don't think they'll ever completely leave it because I think once racing's in your blood, it's in your blood. And so Craig's doing a phenomenal job. We kind of have pulled out to a certain degree, gone more into the marketing side of things and, you know, still driving the company, but not as as hands-on as we were when we started out. But no, very exciting to be obviously venturing into the Friday night racing, a bit of Greyville TV, that kind of thing happening. So still involved in the game, but not as much in the betting side of things.
Karen, it's been fantastic having you with us, and unfortunately we've got to go and watch the KwaZulu-Natal Awards. I'd much rather be chatting to you, and I'm sure everyone else would much rather that I was chatting to Karen. But thank you so much for joining us, and all the very best for the future with your kids, with HD, with Dave and Shirley, and it's a fantastic family. It's a racing family, and it's wonderful having you with us.
Thanks James.
Right, we're going to move on and go and see the KwaZulu-Natal Racing Awards, and if ever there's a chance, which there will be, I know, just down the road, because Lafferty loves going on holidays, we'll get Karen back in the studio.
Good evening to you all, and welcome to the 2014 KZN Racing Awards celebration here at the Elangeni Hotel. Tonight is a celebration, and we promise you an evening of fun, music, dance, the celebration of champions, both equine and human.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Hector.
Please welcome the entire family, all the connections to Hector Lawrence on the occasion of his 101st birthday. Our 2014 Roy Eckstein winner of the KZN Racing Personality of the Year is Anita Akel. And she knew nothing about it. And the reason we had to mix it up a bit, because her family have been waiting in the wings and couldn't take their seats. Let's give Anita, she's been on our tracks for 43 years. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we kick off with the champion 2-year-old female category. 4C, bilateral, Carry On Alice, and same jurisdiction. Those are the 4 nominees. Your winner is same jurisdiction.
Henry's on the inside, bilateral. Carry On Ellison, same jurisdiction, the last 100. Carry On Alice has her head in front. Same jurisdiction's trying to warm up. Bilateral's on the outside. Carry On Alice going to the line, same jurisdiction.
Congratulations to Breeders Klavervlei Stud, to trainer Duncan Hells, to the owners Mrs. van Skalkveld, Duncan himself, Elsie Vermaak, Dr. Katzwinkel, and Mrs. M.A.M. Powell. And the team is largely here this evening, so give them a nice big warm welcome onto the stage. Champion 2-year-old filly, same jurisdiction. Moving on to the champion 2-year-old colt gelding. Africa Burn, Guinness and Harry's Son, all 3 worthy nominations for the title. There can only be one winner, and that winner is Harry's Son.
Needs a gap. He's going to come through 3 lengths to make up. Light the lights. Angel to the outside. Harry's Son's running on strongly towards the inside. Harry's Son and Light the lights. Angel hard up on the outside. Angel has his head in front. Harry's Son's coming home hard. Jay is absolutely flying. Maybe Harry's Son in a thriller.
Bred in Australia by Cranton Bloodstock, trained of course by Paul Lafferty. A big partnership once again. All of Messrs. Roy Moodley, Phil Georgia, Basenbacher, Mr. and Mrs. DJ Stain, Mrs. M.M. Bilrow, and Miss A. Bilrow. Please welcome them all on stage to receive the Champion 2-Year-Old Colt Award for their talented horse, Harry's Son. And we move to the Champion 3-Year-Old filly category. Highly competitive. The Champion 3-Year-Old filly is in the fast lane.
Down the inside, Mojave Princess, but in the fast lane, hit the front at the 200. Athena's on the outside. Along came Polly, but in the fast lane, and Athena in the fast lane continues to dig down though, and in the fast lane will win it.
We welcome Chris and Sue Snaith here this evening, John Freeman. Sue, you're most welcome to join them on stage. You don't always have to sit in the background, you know. Lovely to have Sue with us. Give her a nice big welcome here in KwaZulu-Natal. We move to the champion 3-year-old colt and gelding. Brilliant colts, Futura, Legislate and Normans. The winner is Legislate.
Legislate comes into the lead now. Legislate going for home, gone clear. And Legislate in the KRA Guineas is going on by 3 or 4 lengths. Bezanova's running on, but Legislate, very impressive. Won it by 2.5 to 3.
Congratulations to the Chevrolet stud for having bred this outstanding son of Dynasty. It's wonderful to have Shirley Costa to join the winning party. It's also fantastic to have Dennis and Gail Evans with us here this evening at huge sacrifice to themselves. They've joined us here in KwaZulu-Natal. Give them a nice big warm Banana Country welcome. Right, we move on, ladies and gentlemen. KwaZulu-Natal Racing Season Awards 2014. We go to the next category, which is the Champion Older Filly Mare category. Via Africa and Fly By Night are absolutely brilliant. They thrilled us in the SA Filly Sprint. But how on earth can they compete with Beach Beauty?
To put in a claim, and it's Beach Beauty. Amizuka now throws out the challenge, but Beach Beauty by a length. Amizuka's on the outside. Beach Beauty continues to roll. Amizuka's making a race of it, but Beach Beauty, she just keeps on finding more, and Beach Beauty won it.
We congratulate the Shank Syndicate. We congratulate Dennis Dreyer. We think of the late Trevor Armitage at this time. Well done to them all. Dennis and Jill are here this evening. Warren and Laura Kidd, Ruth Armitage, John and Janet Biscoby, Anthony and Barbara Erswell. You're all most welcome. Receive this award with pride. Receive this award with honor. For 4 consecutive seasons, as we heard earlier, she thrilled the racing fans, not only in KwaZulu-Natal, but throughout the country. Moving on now to the equivalent category for the males, the older colts, geldings and horses. He won the Rising Sun Gold Challenge. He was second in the Champions Cup. Your winner is King of Pain. We asked John Costa to represent the connections. The owners, Mr. and Mrs. D. Nake, Mrs. Kay Finch and Mrs. B. Kieswetter and Mr. Joey Ramsden. Joey sent us an email wishing us well this evening, apologizing for their absence here this evening, and congratulations also to the breeders, Ark and Seal Stud. Let's give it up for the magnificent grey King of Pain. Okay, we move on now to the Champion Sprinter category. Your winner is Via Africa.
Via Africa still the one to get with 200 meters to go, and Via Africa by 2.5. Fly By Night's trying to run on 150 to go, but Via Africa, she's clear by 1.5 lengths. Fly By Night is coming home late. Fly By Night's coming home hard. Here's the post. I'm going to go with Via Africa by a nose.
Wonderful to have Andre and Tilla Helpflesh here this evening. We also congratulate co-owner Albert Bossoff. And a special congratulations to Andre. Give him a round of applause because he not only owns this flying filly, he bred her as well. Well done to trainer Duncan Hells. What a season he's had. Now we move to the middle distance category. The champion middle distance performer for 2013-2014 is Legislate.
Rake's Chestnut running on. Legislate comes at Captain America. And here's Legislate with a long, lengthy stride. And Legislate hit the front. Rake's Chestnut the outside. Legislate's digging in. Rake's Chestnut's coming on powerfully. Legislate maybe just held on.
Well done again to breeders Chevrolet Stud, Vaughan and Shirley Costa, trainer Justin Snaith, the owners Jack Mitchell, Drakenstein Stud, the nominee Mrs. Gaynor Rupert, and Dennis Evans and Gail Evans. We welcome once again on stage Dennis and Gail, Chris and Sue, and John Freeman, and Shirley Costa as well. Now we move on to our next category, the Champion Stayer category. Your winner of this highly competitive category is Hot Ticket.
Hot Ticket now starts to run, and Hot Ticket comes bounding into the lead after 200. Wild One thrown out a challenge. It's Hot Ticket and Wild One over the last 100. Hot Ticket just the leader. Wild One is fighting back. Hot Ticket's going to do enough. Here comes Wave and Flag. Hot Ticket just won it.
We call on David Avery, who's here to represent the owners. Please give him a nice warm welcome. David owns the horse in partnership with Rick Ahmed and F. Dippenaar, bred by the Dichter Bay stud of the Stegemans. David, you're most welcome. Congratulations. Please extend our congratulations to your partners and also to Dean Kannemeyer, who's extended his apologies for not being here this evening. We take this opportunity each year to honour not just the champion trainer of KwaZulu-Natal, which we will do later on with the Ernie Duffield Memorial Trophy, but we also honour the leading trainers at each of the 3 training centres. Firstly, the leading trainer at Ashburton, and there's no betting on this outcome, ladies and gentlemen, there's no betting, because your champion, Ashburton Trainer of the Year, has to be Duncan Howells. We move for the last time, sadly, as we all know, we honour the Clarewood Trainer of the Year. And here again, there's no betting on the outcome. Please welcome Charles Laird.
Just like to say thanks to all. Very sad that we've left Clarewood. It's been a great home to all of us, but we're moving on, and I'm sure we're going to have lots of fun in our new places. Thank you.
And now we move to the Summerveld Trainer of the Year, and this is an award that's going to get a lot more competitive as we go forward. So you certainly can't rest on your laurels, sir. And who is the sir that I'm referring to? What a character, what a man. Dennis Dreyer.
Lovely. Dennis Dreyer.
Big thank you to all my staff, the grooms, Stewie, Robbie Dawson, Sean, and of course all my owners. Thanks very, very much. Without you chaps, I could never be here. Thank you.
Moving on to our next category, we honour the owner of the year. And once again, I guess, this doesn't come as a surprise to anyone. The rewards for the huge investment they make. Once again, the owner of the year, KwaZulu-Natal, Ingrid and Marcus Juster, represented this evening by Derek Bruchman, the racing manager. We move on, staying with the personalities, but combined, of course, with the nursery of our industry, which is the breeding industry. Our next award is for the Breeder of the Year. This year in this province, they've had to take a backseat once again to Summerhill Stud. Mick and Cheryl Goss and the rest of the Summerhill team.
I go to work with the greatest creature the good Lord ever created. And I have to say, and I'm paying my respects to my team tonight, I go to work with some of the most gifted horsemen on this earth and some of the finest human beings you could ever wish to work for. And I have to say, on the back of all of this, to Gold Circle, who've put on a wonderful show tonight and who give us this remarkable program of racing throughout the year and put up with all our moans and our gripes, and they do so with equanimity. Thank you, guys. You can take a bow. This has been a wonderful evening, and it's a great event for racing, and we're very proud to be part of your province and to be with you tonight. Thank you.
This year's recipient of the Apprentice of the Year Award, please welcome our champion KwaZulu-Natal apprentice, Donovan Dillon.
Good evening, everybody. I would just like to, first of all, thank the Lord for getting me thus far. He's guided me in the right path all the way, and obviously my family and friends as well. But most of all, I'd like to thank all the owners and trainers for all their support that I've had over the past few years that I've been racing. It's really gotten me far, and I'm really enjoying this game, and hope to get many more winners for all you lovely people. Thanks very much.
Our champion jockey is a champion in every respect. I am, of course, talking about Anton Marcus.
It's never easy speaking after Mick, but I'll give it a bash. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, firstly, well done to the winners and the nominees in the various categories. I'd like to thank Gold Circle for the recognition in this prestigious award. I do find myself in the very fortunate position to be supported by various owners and trainers, in particular Charles, who moonlights as my sparring partner. The statistics will tell you that he's undefeated. A special thank you must go to Marcus, who continues to support racing. His support is unparalleled, and he supports every aspect of our industry, which benefits us all. It would be remiss of me if I never thanked my wife and kids for their support as well. Lastly, I'd like to wish Gold Circle all the best in their future endeavours. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the champion trainer for this year and the recipient of the Ernie Duffield Memorial Trophy is Duncan Howells.
It's been a lifelong ambition of mine to achieve something like this. It's taken 15 years of hard work. I've had to have the right people standing behind me, giving me 100% effort every part of the way. I'd like to thank my wife, Kathy, all my owners, and my son, Alex, who for the last 2 years has played a big part in the running of the stable and traveling with horses to Cape Town. There's nothing more I can say, but thanks very much. It's a great achievement for our stable. Thank you.
The 2014 Anita Akel Special Award for dedicated service over many years to the horse racing industry goes to Craig Peters.
The runners now starting to load up at the 2200-meter marker. What a race. Jackson used up a lot of energy.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very worthy recipient, a man, the voice of racing in this part of the world, and a sire of the voice of racing in this part of the world, Craig Peters. Ladies and gentlemen, the horse of the year, 2013-14, is Legislate. Who will forget those moments? President Jacob Zuma, the connections, the presentation party at around 4:45 at Greyville on July the 5th after Legislate was awarded the Vodacom Durban July, but that was his 4th consecutive Grade 1 victory. Son of Dynasty, trained by Justin Snaith. Once again, we welcome Dennis and Gail Evans, Chris and Sue Snaith, and John Freeman. We congratulate Richard Faree in his absence for what he's done for Legislate. Some wonderful scenes coming through on your screens from Greyville on that memorable afternoon. Once again, we also congratulate Vaughan Costa and his team at Chevrolet Stud. I'm sure that Wilfred will be smiling down from wherever he is. And Shirley, once again, congratulations to you and the family and the heritage of the Chevrolet Stud. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the connections of Legislate. We pay tribute to Legislate's groom, Jabu Umdludlu.
Many thanks to everybody. Going all the way back to Jan Mansell, looking after him as a youngster, and Felix, who did a lot of work breaking him in. Of course, the Snaith Racing family is to be honoured as well tonight. My wife, Gail, who always takes the back seat at these things, but is there. She doesn't take a back seat at home, I can tell you. Also, many, many thanks to Gold Circle for such a wonderful evening, really. I mean, these trophies are fantastic. Also, I keep doing this, I don't know why it is, but I'd like to acknowledge Richard as well. Richard Faree has really done well for us. He's ridden well, he's looked after the horse terribly well in races and brought him back sound. And again, an acknowledgement of the beauty and the wonder of a racehorse. Thank you so much. And thanks, Natal.